First, I welcome everybody. Good to see people in the audience, presenters, and first item is approval of agenda. Or if you have anything to add, or it's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favour signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Does anybody around the table have a conflict of interest on any of the items on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go on to the next item is presentations. And the first one is Midsummer Night's Dream, Jeremy Watkins. You can take the stand.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Hello. Is this working fine for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can introduce yourself, Jeremy, and tell them who you are and what
Okay.
you do. And
My name is Jeremy Watkins. I'm here on behalf of the ARC and the Yarmouth Drama Society. The ARC established in 1978. And the Yarmouth Drama Society is it's called an organizational member of the ARC. It's a non-for-profit society that deals in dramatic works of various kinds. I'm here today to talk to you about production that's going to be taking place this coming summer. I have on my little agenda here, I already have made a presentation to the municipality of Yarmouth, which went very well, although it was very, very shaky and stuttery, it being my first presentation ever being made. I'm hoping this one will go a little more fluid for you people. I'm just going to go through this, the background. This information here, the background and the aim, is all information given to the grant for the Community's Culture and Heritage Division of the province. And I thought this would be the best information to give you because their questions are quite descriptive and they ask you for a lot of different kinds of things. Midsummer Night's Dream is one of Shakespeare's early festive comedies written about 1595, 1596. A comical play, Midsummer Night's Dream incorporates various themes and motives, including the role of love and duality in the worlds of upper and lower class humans and fairies that collide with a comic farce, with three separate strands of plot that resolve by magical means. This particular production has been adapted, which means after 100 years or so, the royalties become free, and you're able to take plays and change them and make them fit whatever kind of focus or vision that you so have for the project. I myself have served on the Yarmouth 250th Committee. The project I was involved with was being the producer for a show called The Baltimore, which again was a historical musical, which had dealt with 1735 Chebogue area. It was a murder mystery. It was very successful. Not only being a musical that was successful, but also being a Yarmouth area and regional area production written by local and all orchestrated by local people. I learned a lot of lessons from that. So the next vision that I have, I'll use the word vision, was to come up with another tourism experience kind of thing, which I can apply for grants. About being about us. So this kind of adaptation came out in 2008. If I can bring you back to 2008, the Yarmouth Drama Society put on production of The Twelfth Night, which is a Shakespeare production. This was the first Shakespeare production to be put on at the Yark in Yarmouth. Other Shakespeare productions have been done. Not to say that they haven't been done by students and other groups. But it was the first show done by the Yark. So with taking all this collected data and experience, I've tried to come up with a adaptation that fits this area with A Midsummer Night's Dream. In particular, setting it in pre-expulsion Acadia. Now, to give you a little bit of a background without taking too much of my time, in the original Midsummer Night's Dream, it is a show in the setting of Athens. A lot of Shakespeare's plays took place in the Mediterranean, where fairies and things were incorporated in the folklore. In doing research about fairies and goblins and hokey-pokey things that parents tell their children for nighttime stories before they go to bed, that they would tell their kids that are fictional myths and things, I came to find out that the Acadian folklore kind of matches, weirdly enough. So, ergo, we moved A Midsummer Night's Dream into pre-expulsion Acadia. Now, in pre-expulsion Acadia, as you guys well know, there's two peoples here, Acadians, and the native Mi'kmaq people. So in A Midsummer Night's Dream, for example, one of the adaptations is there is a duke and there is a queen of the Amazons that he's being married to. In this instance, throwing the setting into pre-expulsion Acadia, we have the governor of Acadia being married to the chief's daughter, who is soon to be the chief of the Mi'kmaq people. Again, this is a fictional adaptation of a fictional comedy, which has folklore that matches the Acadian folklore of the time. I have successfully, over this past 2 weeks, gone through the audition process of getting the 22 people. I thought you would be interested to know that 40% of the people that came to the audition and will be in the show come from your community. Attached is a letter from John Noss. John Noss was a high school student teacher for a great many of years and is retired now. From the time that we finished up doing the Baltimore, I had been working on the adaptation and got it to a working copy where I can send it off to people to get ideas and opinions and criticisms, so I can get the best quality story out of what we were trying to accomplish, one of which was John Noss. He particularly taught Shakespeare in high school and is well versed in. I also was told by Aaron LeBlanc that he sent a letter, and now I don't know if you all received that letter from him or not, because I didn't have enough time to confirm. Aaron LeBlanc is a aspiring doctor now. He's been to several provinces doing work, and now he is, I believe, been accepted into international medicine in St. John. Aaron, every year, has wrote a children's play for the Ark. Different directors like myself have had the opportunity to take his work, put it on for students in the summer, and get people that young and a little bit older to come out, stories generated for them. Just a little bit different than stories generated for adult group of people. Nevertheless, it's still a writer writing things coming from our town and our community. I've been working with him on the French part of this. I myself am not a francophone, although I am aspiring and am learning because we're raising Asley to be bilingual as well. Again, Aaron is very talented and versed in the writing side of things, so he's basically taken the idea and the vision and he's expounded upon it, adding more French. He's taken the Midsummer Night's Dream has a lot of verse in it, which rhymes, and it's a way of writing. And he was able to find the lines that rhyme and take little sections of French and find things that rhyme that I would never have been able to do. for example. I'd like to bring your attention quickly to the last page, the Midsummer Night's Dream detailed project description. Just to give you an idea of the volunteer hours that go into doing a typical production. I myself like to take a lot of time to do things, but I also I'm working on a little bit harder caliber of shows, aka Shakespeare and other things. Just to give you a rough idea, there is 23 people that will be involved in the show on the stage, roughly 6 off the stage, plus the professional staff, myself, the director, that work at the Arc. So when you add all of this up, and this is a rough count, this is not exact at all, it's just a generalization, you get 3,334 volunteer hours over the next 6-month period. We have decided, the Arc has asked that we add another week of shows for this show in August. It was a touch and go thing. We wanted to see what kind of feedback we would get, what kind of interest we would get from casting. And it's all worked out very well, and everybody has received it very well. The reason I've come before you today, I am asking for a letter that I can forward to the Community Cultures and Heritage Division. I have a letter coming in from the municipality of Yarmouth. I'm also filling out your granting process and going through your granting process for the help in financing for our costumes and our marketing budget and whatnot. The letter that which is kind of why our meeting at the municipality kind of went a little bit weird, is because we were having troubles coming up with what exactly we wanted for the letter. So my request is if the YARC may get a letter stating that you will review our grant that we'll be sending you, and that you are in support of the idea that we're doing a locally written adaptation, local adaptation, and that you will be reviewing in hopes to possibly help in granting the project. Does anybody have any questions?
So you want a letter of, asking for a letter of support, in principle?
In principle, yes.
Yeah.
The deadline for the grant for Communities, Culture, and Heritage was February 15th. I've already sent this off. And it's not uncommon to send support letters afterwards. Again, the task list is yay, and you have to kind of get where you can get when you can get there, so kind of thing. So that's what I would do. I would just forward it to them with the municipalities.
Yeah.
I am going to be doing another presentation for the town of Yarmouth as well. The hope is that if I can pull the region together and back this, what it will do for us is it helps us get a marketing campaign that can be aggressive, and I can, excuse me, I can get the businesses that we need to support. And the easy thing about doing the Baltimore, it wasn't easy at all. The easiest thing about it is that we were united by the 250th committee, which means I didn't have to go to 4 separate entities and make 4 separate presentations, basically, which made things a little bit easier. But we don't have that every year, which is the way things are, right? So it was a little bit easier because I had to go to them. We had one letter. We had. It was just a little bit easier.
Jeremy, I can't imagine you being nervous because I've seen you on stage and you look so comfortable there.
Thank you.
So, just to be certain,
Yes, sir.
what you're asking for is a letter of support on the principle, on your ideology or whatnot.
Yes.
With a possibility in the future of financial backing. Is
That's
that
correct.
Okay, just making sure.
And your deadline is March 31st on your granting, is it not 20?
Yeah.
The end of March?
April 15th.
Oh, it is April. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have more time.
Councillor Surratt?
Yes, Jeremy, thank you for that, for the presentation that you're making here. What kind of dollars are you looking at for this production? What's your number? I know you'll have it on your grant application, but just to give me a number in the back of my mind, what's the cost of your whole production?
The total cost?
The total production.
Total
cost?
production costs are $14,500.
14,500. How much is your application at, for heritage cultural?
Yes, I'm asking for 4, with the hopes to get 2.
You know how it works, do you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I'll do it. Oh,
All right,
my bad.
Councillor LeBlanc? go
My
ahead.
apologies, I forgot all about the mic. I'm still learning. How else, are municipal funding as well as this grant the sole,
No,
sole
sir.
source of income?
Where the gate, the door.
There is just Destination Southwest Nova.
Right,
Since it falls under, I didn't put it on vibrate. I'm very apologize. Apologize. Since it holds perks for the tourism industry, and it has to do with again heritage and culture. It does fall under their guidelines under Destination Southwest Nova. I do believe they were awarded, don't quote me on this, around $30,000 to give out for grants this year. The hope was to ask for $1,000 from them.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? Or we won't be making the decision right now.
I understand that, sir.
We will get back to you for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We should deal with that, the letter, if somebody,
a second.
that we send, and you can, if you know what you want on it, you can help us with the wording,
Sure.
yeah,
I can send that to Chris.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
We have a motion to send a letter of support, and send a letter to you or to the Yark, or?
You can send it. You can send it to the Yark. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And address to the Yark?
I can send that to Chris
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, okay.
I will
good.
send that to you.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's carried. Thank
Merci
you very
beaucoup.
much. Thank you, Peanut. Huh? Is that what Mim calls you, Peanut? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Wait, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. And the next presentation is Michel Lacroix, and he has some sidekicks also. He's got a couple of people riding shotgun with him.
Interesting choice of words.
So if I understand right, we're going to have a report from you, Staff Sergeant, and a report from the Senior Safety Coordinators too, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Thank you. You go ahead. You're on.
Peggy doesn't allow me to talk about for her, so.
Sorry about the mic, Audrey.
It's all right. I do.
Pass it.
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's two documents there. One is a little package and just a standalone org chart for our office.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay. Good evening. This is the 2012 report for the Yarmouth Rural Detachment Operation. I'll be talking about our human resources. I'll talk a little bit about our operations, our statistics, some of our goals that we had last year, what we accomplished, and trying to plan also, talk about what we're planning to for this 2013, 2014 year. Like my operations are from April to March, but the report you have before you is for the year 2012, okay? First, I'll talk about our personnel. With regard to, and you have the org chart there. It shows you the structure of our office. You see we have three teams, Team A and Team B, and the team in the middle is our street crime unit. The three teams are led by a corporal, supervisor position, and on top of them there's two detachment assistants. And again, all the position in the bottom are all the constables' positions. In total, for the detachment, for the regular operation, we have 9 constable positions. As of now, all the positions are staff plus 1 extra. And we will have 2 members on parental leave during the year 2013. There's 1 member, she's on maternity until January, and the other member will take paternity leave starting April 1st to June 30th. Then he'll start again September 1st to the end of January. So that's our those are for the constable on patrol. There is for the detachment, there's two corporal positions that are staff with Corporal Jen Clark and Mark Hustings. They've been there already for a few years, and things are working very well with them. Our school safety resource officer, of us Constable James Clasico, he's been transferred to Digby a couple weeks ago. The position is presently vacant. I had discussion this afternoon with our human resources department, and I should expect someone within a couple weeks be named, and within a month or two be transferred to that position. Right? Presently, there's nobody doing this work. Our street crime unit, there's 1 corporal in charge, Corporal Paul Pittman, plus 2 constable. One of the constable will be transferred this year, and a replacement has already been named. But it's a relocation. It's someone probably from Windsor, so there'll be probably a delay in the replacements because they have to sell their home and stuff like that. But someone has already been named. With regard to our detachment assistants, we still have only two ladies that work there. One will go on maternity in May. Presently working with our public servant staffing to get a replacement, so there's no gap and no vacancy there during that period of time there. They do replace members, public servants are replaced when they go on leave like that. And there's my position, which I'm still here. They haven't get rid of me yet. With regard to our operation, we had a total of 4,620 calls for service last year. It's higher than the previous years. There's a reason for that. I'll explain later. But beside that, the regular call for service are pretty consistent with the previous year. There's no real major changes as far as criminal code offenses and drug offenses and so on. It's pretty consistent for the last 3-4 years since I've been at Yarmouth Road Detachment. There's a big difference, it's with the, if you go down the bottom of the page 3, The common police activities, the index checks, all those are the criminal record checks. There's a huge jump there. We had a total of 1,620 criminal record check last year. So that's what's raised our stats for the year 2012, mainly due because of the Acadian game, the Jeux de l'Acadie and the hockey tournament. Lots of volunteers that we had to process. So that's what I'm saying. As far as the criminal activities, pretty consistent. There's no trend like more break-in enters or more traffic offenses. It's pretty steady, all right? So there's nothing really to be concerned about as far as I'm concerned. I add to the report a few examples of what we do for work. It's quite diverse. Just put some example there of what we do. One criminal investigation in February that we did was about the two ladies that were kidnapped in Westport area. They were assaulted there, and they were kidnapped to the New Minas area where there was an accident, and we arrested them. That took a lot of our time to investigate this because there was offense in Wedgeport, some in Carleton, there were some in New Minas, and so on. So once you have one or two constables per shift working, an investigation like that can be very taxing for us. So just to give you an example, this investigation took about a month to complete, all the statement and the reports that had to be filled out. Eventually, we turned over this investigation to our major crime unit to coordinate all the charges because there was various jurisdictions in this thing. As you know, the individual that were arrested is still in custody. We executed a search warrant in Shore Beach area. It was a cocaine search warrant. We arrested the two adults. This investigation was a result of neighbors complaining about traffic and so on, and came direct to a street crime unit, and they were able to act very quickly on that. In March, we had the sailboat that sunk off Yarmouth. There was 9 people on board. They were from Georgia. They had taken a boat in St. Martin in the Caribbean and came here in the winter. They forgot that we had a winter down here, and they hit a storm, and they were rescued by a tanker that was going by, and the attempt didn't go well. 3 guys fell overboard. 3 climbed the ladder. 3 remained in the boat. They were rescued by a search and rescue helicopter. 1 died during the rescue. And so basically we had 3 missing and 1 deceased. That investigation took a lot of our time too. We had to deal with the Georgian authorities in St. Martin. And there was police, Toronto police. That turned into a human smuggling operation investigation. So we had to have a lot of investigators coming from Halifax and from Toronto to assist us with this investigation. We had 3 fatal motor vehicle accidents. All those accidents were single motor vehicle accident there was no charge laid as a result of those accidents. We had a surveillance operation on some major drug trafficker in our area. Our surveillance took us to Wolfville. We were able to to observe a transaction. There was arrests made, a supplier from Halifax arrested. There was $5,000 in cash plus a lot of crack cocaine seized. That was a good seizure. That shows that cooperation with other street crime units, most of the detachment across the province have those. So we're able to work with the team over there to help us with our surveillance. We had someone that home invasion with when someone broke his winning with a baseball bat and assaulted people in the home. He was people defending themselves with a firearm. And there was a dog injured, and the suspect ran away. We arrested that individual, is still in custody, and there was a lot of attention from the media about the dog, not about the people got hit. But that's the way things work. It was kind of different. So those are the type of work we do. We do a lot of stuff, and let's just give you an idea of the different things we do. Overall, like I said, there's no big trend in crime. Our plan last year was to reduction of property crime, safe road, and high visibility. And how did we accomplish that was to go out on the road, do a lot of checkpoints, and do a lot of traffic stop. And I put some stats there. Just the Yarmouth Rural Detachment members issued 262 tickets for traffic offenses and 566 warnings during that period. But in the same time, there's 3 traffic members that are not directly attached to our office, but they work in Yarmouth County. Those guys issue 1,866 tickets during that period and 1,126 warning as well. Right? So all that, it gives us a lot of visibility in the area, and those tickets are given, in Carlton and Kemp and Wedgeport, Pumlico, all over the place. So, and we see the result with the break and enters since for the last 4 years. We reduced, once we started doing that, we reduced our break and enters by 50%, and we kept those numbers low. And I think it's because of what our strategy here. We identify prolific offenders and that type of stuff. We target them all the time, and we're very visible, and we have maintained to that level. I doubt we could reduce it more, because the type of break and enters we're getting now, it's a lot of crime of opportunity or domestic dispute and so on. There's nothing really organized going on, like people getting up in the morning and we're going to go break into homes and stuff like that. There's none of that going on. So I am pretty happy with our numbers right now. We also conducted 265 checkpoints in county during that period. In 2012, our cell block was closed for 6 months. They did a $500,000 renovation. They extended our cells, our capacity to process prisoners. So we're down for 6 months there. So those numbers, 238 prisoners, that's half of what we get usually. We usually get between 500 and 600 a year. People were processed there and lock up for 24 hours. The Acadian game, les Jeux de l'Acadie and the World Junior, again, gave us 1,620 criminal check to do. A criminal record check for our detachment assistant takes about 20 minutes to do. About 25 to 30% of those require fingerprinting, and that takes another half hour to 45 minutes to process, depending on how fast the machine is working. So this has become quite a concern for us as far as our operation goes. It's kind of tied up my office and stuff that's not really police related. And I will discuss this issue a little bit later. What I'd like to discuss now or to talk about is our plan for next year. I had a police advisory board meeting. The warden was present. I asked if you could bring me your concern that I could bring into my plan for this year. Again, we cannot do everything, but if you have any concern within your area and things you'd like us to do more or less, I'd like to hear it today if you want, if you can tell me, so I can add that to my plan for next year or for this current year that's already started. Is there any question or any comment you'd like to bring up?
Yes, sure.
Just one thing, and you probably had some calls on this, but the truckers that were driving, hauling rocks and gravel to the Indian Sluice Bridge between Threaders Island and Sluice Point. It was quite a concern. I've had numerous calls on that. And one thing is going to be going on for about a year and a bit, year and a half. So to be sure that you do make your checks every once in a while just to show a presence so these truckers can possibly slow down and keep on their own side of the road. That's a concern that a lot of the residents had. Now, whether it fits in your plan or not, but that's in the next year and 2 or 3 months. That's something we'd like to see down in my district.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
We're well aware of the situation there. We've been there, we've been getting calls daily as well. We did approach the people running this project. We talked to various companies that are contracting to haul the rocks there. They pay by the load, so they're trying to get as many load as they can. We did radar operation in many days. They're not speeding that much. Sometimes it's 5 kilometers over or stuff. But they're big trucks, and they look that they're speeding, right? But they're not. The roads are not designed for that type of traffic, and that's the problem we're having. And as soon as they see a police car, they're on the radio talking to each other, and they're not speeding for sure. Right?
It was working and slowing down.
Yeah. So even if we use an unmarked car, we stop one truck. As soon as we got one done, they get very careful for the rest of the day. So the trick is, but there's no real trick, is to be present all the time. Can't really do that, but we're going to try to, and I expressed our concern. We called the owners directly. We spoke with them and explained and this, and I think it has slowed down a little bit. And the thing is to keep the pressure until this project is over, and we'll do our best with that. I don't think it's necessary to put into a plan, because really the result's going to be how do we measure this, their success of this. I mean, reduction of call for service in relation to that. It's not something we're aware. We have a file on this. We're following, and again, our goal is to maintain the pressure the best we can to try to reduce accidents, avoid accidents, and reduce the call for the complaints and stuff like that.
Thank you.
You have any, Warden? On the same subject, I remember when they had the windmill project in West Pamlico, and the same thing came up. And at that time, and I don't know about this project, but at that time in West Pamlico, they had a safety guy. His name was Tony. And every morning he would have meetings and talk about safety. And once there was a complaint in the community, Tony made sure the next morning that all the truckers knew that there had been complaints, and anybody that was caught going over speed was gone, was done. After that, we had no problems at all. Didn't even have to talk to the RCMP. Anyway, I don't know those guys if they have an actual safety officer who's independent.
I don't think so. It's an option I can look into.
Yeah.
I don't think there's someone coordinating that.
Yeah.
They have various operators
Yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
and they just
Yeah.
take the load and go, and they
You know,
pay by the load.
Because of all the liability and everything, there could be lawsuits and stuff. So, right away, everybody just slowed down and took care of the problem. So, I don't know. But maybe they don't have an actual safety guy who's independent.
I don't think so. I spoke with the Department of Transportation. They're getting complaints too, and they're not, that's a contract. They're not associated to that, really. They don't want to touch it, I don't think.
Okay.
And but I will look into it. If there's
Yeah.
someone that coordinate that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, probably not. Yeah. Okay, any more? Yes?
I may. The Truckers Association from Yarmouth was contacted with regards to this situation. And they've made sure that they've been in touch with all those who are trucking. And they know that you are present and that the safety of the public is very important, as the safety of their drivers.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I don't know, I don't have any suggestions or You
Just-
know, I was thinking, once in a while you're driving up. If I drive up in the morning, 8 o'clock, 8 to 9, or the highway here, the traffic is moving pretty fast. A lot of people are going to work, and then I was thinking, boy, we don't have many accidents on the 103 here. I don't think anyway. This area here, the Yarmouth to Pubnico is, or,
Most of our fatals are on the 103 or the 101,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad, but again, you look at the offense that were committed and people that were charged, there's still a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
speeding and
Yeah,
not following the rules.
yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
again, we're not there for numbers and giving ticket. It's about, I think the best safety for the highway, it's fear. They fear getting caught. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. I don't care, as far as, it's not, the traffic division, they look at revenue. I am not. I'm looking at safety. And, but anyway, I think the combination of both is working pretty good
Yeah,
as far as making safer.
yeah.
But if you don't have any suggestion in relation to my plan for my priorities for this year, my intention is to continue the same thing. Be very highly visible, targeting prolific offender for property crime, and continues with this strategy. And I think we'll be doing what we should be doing. But if you have any suggestion, you have a problem that develops in your area halfway during the year, it doesn't mean that you have to wait till next year to tell me. Pick up the phone, call me direct, right? And if you have people in your community that have issues that tells you, then you tell me. Most of the time it's too late. Tell them to call me direct, all right? Because you're the middleman, you miss things, and then I don't know who's talking and so on. And it's confidential, but I need to know that, right, from the people. It's much easier that way, because a lot of times they'll tell you, and then tell me 3 days later, and that's no good to me. I need to know now,
Yeah,
right? So if people call you, tell them to call me, right?
yeah. Yes.
Just from a municipal perspective, a couple of things, and I know that one is being reported every time it happens. We do have a repeat issue with the ball field in Tuscot. There appears to be some, I guess, congregations going on there, and some destruction of property, which we deal with. Also, I think from a traffic perspective, and I'm just talking from the perspective of some of the calls that would come into the office. One of them, the other one that I hear more often now is traffic. Also, the speed, of course, not just with the trucks that was specific to the bridge, but also the speed at which vehicles are passing right here in Tuscot, where the Carl store meets the fork in the road. So
Yep.
apparently, it's there's some visibility concerns coming from Highway 3, and I know that the Department of Transportation was approached to look at the safety issues that may be there. But in the meantime, there's still some fast-moving vehicles in that area, and I won't say that it's mine, but I won't not say it either. But anyway, I
But
won't
this
say.
is what I need to know.
But that,
You
but
live
that-
in the community, you
Yeah.
work in the community, this is what we need to know. Like, a lot of time, we get our intelligence from complaints from people. If you don't call me, I don't assume that I know. A lot of stuff, we know what's going on, but, if you have a specific issue in your area, or where you live, or where you work, call us. And maybe I'm not aware of it. Like, I know here this over the time, but maybe it's nice to call me again, and we'll do some stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll direct the traffic guys, listen, they could probably do well there for a few days and go spend some time. It doesn't take time. If they go in an area for 2-3 days, the word is spread pretty quick that they're around, and it kind of reduced the speed.
Of course, if we get calls like that, we encourage, and this is the lesson we learned when there was some vandalism in certain communities, is call the RCMP. So call. So if there's something like that that's concerning the community, what we do is, if they call us, we say, well, call the RCMP, make sure they understand Because if they don't know,
Yeah.
they won't address it, and so that's been the message we're relaying.
Absolutely, and just an example, they may have a little piece that we need. Wedgeport, we had a problem with kids running around with paintball gun, shooting at houses, right? People get up in the morning and their house is painted. You got about 12 houses down the road that are done. There's no witnesses. But maybe one of the 12 or the 13 down, further down the road, I've seen a car or something. And that little piece of evidence could be good for us. So we need to get those calls again. Call us, report, give us the details. It's not because it's minor that we're not interested. All that stuff makes it different for us down at the end of the day, all right?
Makes a difference in the community too.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of chance if your mailbox was broken or you get some paintball on your car, the chance for us to catch the guy is pretty slim. But if we're getting a lot of report on it, we may be able to catch the guy eventually.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have anything? Things widen Avon River? No crime in Avon River.
There's two things that I'd like to do this year to improve things we do. One is the request of funding for the senior program. That Piggy will be talking about the operational program and so on. But one thing I'd like to mention is the request for funding. I think, Alain, you're well aware of the issue there. And I'd like to make this a priority early in the year instead of the last minute to deal with it. And that could be dealt at the political level because I think you have to change the rule for request for funding. The issue is we're getting money from the province for a program, but we cannot really use it because there's a lot of restriction. It's all little budget, pocket and budget stuff for supplies, for transport, for this, and it's all little pockets. But our main expenses really in the budget is the salaries, and we cannot subsidize the salary with their money. So they give us all that money, but we can't spend it. So it'd be nice, but other municipalities can. And the reason we penalize is that you guys fully support the program by supplying an employee. Other municipalities like Clare, most of the money they're getting is to pay salary because the person is not a municipal employee. So it's just about rules, and that's something I'd like us to work together this year and to change the rule. And it won't change our services, but I think it'll be the municipality will get its fair share of money because right now you're being penalized because you're supporting the program 100%, and I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
Right? And second thing that I'm planning to do is prepare a business plan and request assistance with our criminal record check. Right now, if it's not for volunteer, people have to pay here to get their criminal record check done. I don't know where those funds are going, but I think if we could have one person a week working on doing data input at our office, share between both municipalities, that would make a huge difference. So I'd like to present a business plan this year with some option and so on, but that's something that will be coming this year. Because already our office is, we're not putting all our effort where we should be doing with all those criminal record check. This is not good on our staff, and there's a lot of stuff that we could be doing real police work, and that we're not doing because of those. Okay, so that's another thing that will be coming this year for me.
Okay.
I think what I'm looking is a half a day per municipality for one employee to do data entry on the computer.
Okay, yeah.
All right?
But maybe if we can arrange that and arrange something to use up some of the funding from the province, it won't cost us anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get you money so you can give me money on the
That's
other
right,
side.
yeah, yeah.
But now I'm planning long-term here. I see the trend with those criminal record check. They're not going to go away. They're just increasing year after year after year. And there's pressure there that needs to be addressed. So again, it's, for me, if it's long-term planning, it's not something I'd like to get done today, tomorrow, but I'm just looking down the years, it's gonna have to be addressed.
Okay. I thank you.
Thank you, and I'll let Peggy talk about the operation for our program.
Good. Thank you very much.
I also have copies of my report and statistics of the program here, so if you want to pass them along.
Peggy, you can introduce your
I'll
the other
introduce
lady
myself.
with you if-
I think most of you know who I am. My name's Peggy Boudreau, and I'm the Senior Safety Coordinator for the Municipality of Argyle. I have a new co-worker. Her name is Doris Landry. I'm sure you all know her from a previous employment. Doris just joined our team in February. So she is now a full-time employee of the Municipality of Yarmouth. If you remember when the program first started back in April of last year, the Municipality of Yarmouth had a part-time employee. She worked with me until November, and she's no longer employed with us. She went on to another employment. So Doris started in February as a full-time employee. So like I said, the program began in April of last year. The first few months were to get organized. I mean, this is a new program for Yarmouth County. So we had a lot of planning and things to do to put the program in place. We did numerous presentations, which were facilitated to different seniors groups, like different seniors groups in the area, other agencies such as home care, VON, paramedics, housing, adult protection, fire departments, all the people that are in the community. We had a World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which was held on June 15th, a presentation which was facilitated for seniors in partnership with the Indian Sluice Senior Club. There was a little bit of funding that came from the province for this, so the Indian Sluice Club did apply for some funding. So we had an event. We had RCMP did a presentation for us. There was also a presentation done in conjunction with the restorative justice that they had applied for funding. So we did a presentation in the municipality of Yarmouth, which was very well attended at both locations. So we invited all seniors from both municipalities to attend. We've been involved in the planning and implementation of the Seniors Expo, which was held on October 13th in Yarmouth. Both coordinators here were the keynote speakers for this event. To date, we have had approximately 500 people who have attended meetings and functions that we've held, which we're reaching our goal. We are creating a database for our clients, which is being held in the Road Detachment of the RCMP. We attend and report to the Yarmouth Town and County Crime Prevention on a monthly basis with our statistics, because we fall under they've applied for the funding for us because they are a nonprofit organization. We've had positive feedback received from all our presentations, and we cover topics on all kinds of things that seniors need and all of the interests that they present to us. We try to accommodate them. To date, this is as of December of last year, we had overall in both municipalities, we had 250 clients. Out of that, we have 180 in the municipality of Argyle. Some of these clients are one-time home visits, others are numerous times. It depends on the situation. The referrals are from the RCMP, from presentations to groups, from home care, adult protection, other agencies which are involved with seniors. So anybody can refer, you can self-refer, you can refer anybody, your neighbor, your friend, your family member to us. Just takes a phone call, and there's a little form to fill out. What I've started over the winter months here is calling clients on some of them, it's on a weekly basis, clients that are already in our database, just to check in on them, especially during the winter months where you can't get out as frequently and in the isolated areas. I have approximately 15 clients that are high risk, as you can see if you all have a copy of our statistics. Which we call those high-risk clients. I know there will be questions about high-risk clients. These are people that live alone, and when we did our first initial visit, we noticed that, there's issues with them. So, for example, someone that's living alone is on a lot of medication. They don't know what the medication is for, something like that, or we noticed like maybe they're forgetful. But by talking to them, they don't know their phone number, stuff like that. So it's examples of what we would call a high-risk person. Some of the clients are from the RCMP referrals. So those clients usually are, we try to do those the first thing. When we first started the program, what we were doing is we're highly promoting the Vial of Life. That was our way into these people's residence. But as we got into the program further and further, we were getting more and more cases of people that are isolated in their home. They don't have any family members, they don't have any friends, and the only communication they have is maybe an outing once a week to do their groceries, or some of them don't even have that. So we're referring a lot of people to the home care service, which right now the home care service is their waiting list is high, because I sit on that board also, so I know that. There's a lot of seniors out there. There's a lot of people that are in desperate need of help. We still continue to deliver the Vial of Life, of course. That's one of the things that we do. We have 250 or so. We have had the Vial of Life, the vial itself has been donated by a drugstore. The first time around, it was one of the local drugstores in Yarmouth, and this time around, we've just had another donation from another drugstore. So they're donating the vials. The stickers are donated from the VON, and then the forms that we have fill out for the vial, those are, we have those printed through the program. What else? I've assisted approximately 30 seniors with filling out forms and application grants for housing repair, all that. So that's increasingly, it's getting more and more of that because the program is getting known. I was involved in the municipal e-voting. So I assisted about 20 seniors to vote via computer and telephone. I was involved in the public transportation meetings that we had. So I did all the meetings. I attended the meetings. I did help some seniors fill out the survey, especially the ones that can't get out, like the isolated ones. What I found, a lot of the questions about that when I do my visits is about medical appointments and transportation. Those are two big issues that we have in the municipality here. They depend on neighbors or friends or family members to get to places wherever they need to be. Be their grocery shopping, their medical appointments is one of the main concerns. One of the, or some of the projects that will be ongoing, or that I hope to accomplish in the next year or in the next years, is to in conjunction with other agencies, is to have a database of volunteers that we can depend on, that people that can check in on other people, because what we found is there's a lot of people in our communities now that came here and live here, and they have no family members. They came here because they came to Nova Scotia, they came to the county to live here, they've retired here, and they find themselves with no family members here. They either moved here, you know, from away, or moved back from away, and their family is away. So we're trying to get, you know, volunteers from the community that know the people to, you know, sort of know who to call. So that's one of the projects I'll be working on. I'm also looking forward to some training with other groups, like professionals, with especially on the elder abuse session to take place in conjunction with other projects that the province has. The Restorative Justice has a project ongoing now that they are going to be dealing with elder abuse and all the things that go along with that. So, and also the healthcare professionals, that's the ones that we want to target, because there's a lot of people here that don't have doctors, that are on medications, that don't know what they're taking. So we're trying to, in conjunction, now that I have Doris, which is in the medical, you know, she's been a nurse for a long time, so it's very helpful for me. And so the statistics, I mean, you can look at those if there's any questions.
I guess
On
one thing,
those?
Peggy, that I think you do is, you both work for different municipalities, but you do work together. You travel together sometimes, if you think there's a slight risk, or...
Exactly.
or-
We do some visits together,
Yeah.
depending on the circumstance. If it's a high risk or something, it's a first-time visit that we don't know. We don't know what the situation could be. I mean, I can give you some case examples that I've done so far. There was a domestic violence here. It just so happened that I was visiting this particular person, and she was talking to me, and she told me that she had been hit by her caretaker, which happened to be her husband. So what do I do from there? I called the RCMP, and this man was arrested. We took we had to take the lady out of the home to be taken care of. So this is the types of situation, just an example. I'm dealing a lot, what we're finding now in the later stages of the program, once the program is set, I'm finding a lot of adult protection cases that we're reporting to adult protection, and we're communicating a lot more between the two agencies, myself and Doris, and with the adult protection, because there's different scenarios. We are not a 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The RCMP are. So there's a lot of referrals that come to us on the weekends or during the evenings, that they've had calls that, you know, a particular senior is in need. So we do visits that way.
So you have referrals going both ways.
We do. You see that in here, like,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Yeah.
referrals to the RCMP, and
Yeah.
they refer back.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think Councillor Muse
Oh.
has,
This is a display that we had made through our program. It kind of shows you what the program's all about. So we have been putting this last week here into the pharmacies in Yarmouth. So we're leaving referral forms along with it in our pamphlets, so to promote the program and see what we do. So we're starting again in this spring. We're going back to doing presentations to different organizations.
Are you
Go ahead.
finding that as the program develops, and you've been in it now how long?
It's
couple
been a
years?
year, it'll be a year in April
A year?
that we
Are you
started.
finding that more and more people are aware of this, that this is going on, and getting individual calls more? Because at first probably people
Yes.
didn't know, you
No.
weren't gonna get individual. But are you getting more individual calls now? and
Yes,
more
we
people?
are. Yes.
So it's going out, the knowledge of this is going out
Yes,
further and
yes.
further.
It
so.
was a little slow during the winter months here. Like the first few months of the program, it was just basically planning and doing all the organization. So really, basically, we've just been on the road since probably April, May, started in May probably, that we did our first trips to homes and all that. So, and then during the winter, like I said, the fall and the winter, we didn't do a lot, but we're getting back into it now. And yes, we are getting more calls on a daily basis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Warden, Dr. Moore.
No.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? I think it's a real good program for us seniors.
I just want to say that this job is a really good job. I'm really enjoying it. It's very rewarding because you're helping people, so I really enjoy it, and I'm hoping that the program continues forever.
Good. Thank you for doing a good job too. I hear good comments and thank you very much.
Doris,
Thank you,
did you want
Doris,
to say something? Or?
for helping out. So you're gonna put that sign in Pimlico Pharmacy one of these days?
Yeah, we will.
You go around all Yarmouth County anyway,
yeah.
basically, yeah.
I think for me, the only thing that I would like to say is I
Yes.
challenge you all to think about your communities, and if you know of someone, I think it's important, just like, Michel was mentioning about, let us know, and if we can help, we will. But sometimes we don't know, we haven't heard about maybe a certain situation. So please feel free, anytime, give us a call, and we'll have that discussion and take it from there. So I really challenge you to think about the seniors and some of the challenges that they are facing on a daily basis in your communities. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doris. Yeah. I thank you, the three of you. Now we go on. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes, and the first one is the planning advisory of September 25th.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Committee of the whole meeting of January 29th.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Regular council of February 12th.
Slow move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. And the committee of the whole of February the 26th.
Slow move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Business arising from the minutes. I noticed in the minutes that, Guy, you had made, probably a record, but you had, did you read the minutes? One motion you made, then you seconded two.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I never stop talking.
We got that fixed up.
Yeah.
We got it fixed up.
I read it.
Okay. Business arising from the minutes. Okay, the noise bylaw we have listed here, and being looked after by the Department of Property Inspection, right? So, yes, go ahead.
Mr. Warden,
Yeah.
on the business arising on the noise bylaw, there is a draft currently ready to go, but I think the Director of Public Works would like to have a smaller group of council take a look at this and perhaps other policies and bylaw amendments that would come from time to time. This is not unusual to have a bylaw and policy committee. I know that Argyle had one before, but it was kind of folded up when the committee of the whole function came into play. So in this particular instance, he's made the request that we consider having 2 or 3, or perhaps all, depending on who's interested, to do the policy revisions. So that would mean this certainly isn't a monthly meeting. It would be on an as-needed basis, perhaps once quarterly to at least once a year, absolutely, to take a look at the bylaws and policies that require change, and have council, or at least the subcommittee of council, recommend the priority and order at which we should be tackling these policies. I like the idea because it's proactive. It's not reactive in terms of, you know, having an issue with a dog bylaw and making that change at the time that the issue comes up. So certainly wanted to bring that to the attention of council. I think it's a good idea. Recommend that council consider that. You don't have to make that decision today, but I would suggest that if we, or you as council, make a decision on policy and bylaw review, I'd recommend that there's a geographic consideration, because these policies impact the entire community. And so I wouldn't want the subcommittee to be in one corner of a community, in one corner of the municipality. I think it would be a good idea to consider having some geographic disparity in those that are interested in being involved. Obviously, those of you that are very interested in policies and bylaws, that would be now's a good time to engage in that process.
Probably be daytime meetings if possible.
Preferable. I would
guess.
say, yeah. I would say that would be.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I'd be willing to sit on that committee. Yes.
So, stay meetings are usually available.
Yeah. So you would probably need a motion to strike the committee?
Yep. It would be. It'd be ad hoc, I guess. I mean, ad hoc has a number of definitions, but I mean, it would be an ongoing committee, but it would not meet on a. It would meet as necessary. My suspicion is your first year you meet more often to try to get some of these issues squared away, but ongoing once quarterly would make a lot of sense. So committee to me would be 2 or 3 perhaps. It depends on the will of council. I mean, if you want 4 or 5, whoever wants to be on the committee, I would suggest we wouldn't restrict the number.
Councillor Levedon?
No, I was just moving it
Oh, okay.
in preparation.
All right. So that would be 2 or 3 councillors along with some staff?
It would, absolutely. Depending on the nature of the policy, it might be the Director of Public Works, it might be the CAO, both.
Yeah,
And it might be,
yeah.
most, I would think, have a direct impact in Public Works
Yeah, okay.
and enforcement. So,
So what do you think? Do you think we should have such a committee? Number 1.
Well, I believe we should have a committee like that. It's a request that comes from the CAO and his staff. I think it's a great idea. It doesn't mean that I want to be on it, but certainly when you open your mouth, you tend to slide in somehow. But no, I think it's a great idea, and I'm on some different committees already that have policy committee like waste check, and certainly it's it's needed, and I think we do. I'd like to make a motion that we do make a policy ad hoc policy committee, bylaw committee, and meet as needed, and we have I guess Aldrich, the warden, and Councillor Muse. I've decided to go on, and since I've opened my mouth, I may as well slide in. Geezer is interested. Put my foot in there. That's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
Is anybody else interested?
I'd be interested, but I can't make day meetings.
That's it, yeah.
Early in the morning,
That can be
7.
done. That can be done.
Yeah, 7 is
not
fine.
Wednesdays.
That can be done, like in
That's right.
8:30 or 9 o'clock, it can be done, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll-
Since
we'll-
we're on the extreme end of the municipality.
Good idea.
come on,
Okay,
February.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you
Good.
modify
That Kathy
motion?
there, yeah.
yeah,
Good.
all right.
Seconder.
That seconder was the deputy. Are you all right with that?
Yes,
Adding Kathy and,
perfect.
yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you. We'll get a terms of reference
Yeah.
that, you know, just a quick piece of paper that explains, you know, the mandate of the group, and
Good.
we'll get that going. We'll get something drafted up, and then the group of 4 councillors can make the changes as well, as they will.
Yeah.
Makes
I
sense.
think the whole idea came from John, really, because he works on those.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay,
he suggested, I think, that, you know, we should have that.
good. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I agree. Most organizations have a policy committee.
Yeah.
Medical Service Corp, I think we're not quite ready for,
No, we'll have to defer that, or
Okay.
table it.
uh,
We'll have to table that for our committee of the whole.
yeah, okay. Warden's report. Would anybody else have any items from the business from the minutes, or questions, or?
If
Yes.
you'll permit me 30
Yes.
seconds on the boundary review, I know that you've given us a motion to look at 6, 7, 8, and 9. Obviously, 9's already done, 5's already done. We are working on the option of 6, and I believe that by the end of the month, that will be completed. 7, we have looked at conceptually. I think once we do 6, we'll learn a lot around what the boundaries might look like under the option of 6, and of course, we'll apply that knowledge to the option of 7.
Yeah.
There will be obviously some decisions made by the staff in terms of drawing lines. The lines will have to be discussed at the council level, clearly.
Yeah.
But we have learned a lot about certain restrictions in terms of where certain districts can be changed. There's certain districts that are easier than others. Those at the extreme, like Councillor Bourque is talking about districts. Her district, District 7, is at the extreme end of the municipality. If you're looking at changing the amount of councillors in that location, you're limited in terms of where you can actually get that population. So we're working through that, and it's progressing quite well, actually.
Good. Excellent. Yes.
Just for our CAO, are you able to get numbers, the numbers like the residents then? Because I think it was an issue you had, because going from a village to a village, sometimes you don't always, but you're managing to get those numbers.
What we have is, we do have population numbers that are in 2011 census. We also have the 2008 numbers. We know that they'll always be moving, they'll always be changing. But what we've used as well is the electoral information. So we've had a recent election in many of the districts, so what we noticed was there was a lot of changes made to those lists, those provincial lists. But for those districts that had an election, there were quite a bit of, inaccuracies that were adjusted. It's not perfect, but we can take certain civic numbers and understand, where populations live within districts. So we can get further breakdowns, because when you go from 9 to a potential 6, you're breaking up communities differently than
Yeah.
how you had it with the 9. So we have used that information to look at population in certain sections of districts. And we did have polling information, but that information in terms of population is older.
Okay.
So we're dealing with what we have, I guess.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. All right, Warden's report, I had a chance to read it. It didn't take you very long, but I don't put a whole lot of information there, but I give you some. And some of the things I mentioned in there, like especially, I'm thinking of one, that I mentioned going to Wedgeport, and or I don't know if I mentioned Wedgeport, but I met with a couple from France that are hoping to move in the area. Lucien was there, and I only spent a few minutes. I had to leave to go to another meeting, but you spent quite a bit of time there and with those
Yes, I
people.
did, yeah. It was,
So I thought maybe you could elaborate on that. And
sure. Actually, I intended to elaborate a little more on that meeting. It was Gwen LeBlanc who initiated the meeting. It's a couple from France. I won't be rude and judge their age, but they're not too old, I guess, not too young. They're looking to move, and I believe the way the whole process started, they came to Nova Scotia on a vacation, and if I remember correctly, they returned home basically to pack their bags, sell what they had to sell, and return. And I think they bought a one-way ticket to Nova Scotia. Now they were unsure where in Nova Scotia to settle down, and they traveled and traveled, and they said they weren't welcomed anywhere as friendly as they were in the municipality of Argyle. Now, we did take them for a free lobster supper at the museum in Wedgeport, and Gwen showed them around our municipality, but they were very impressed. And although it's just two people, we put on quite a show for them, I guess. We treated them the best we could, like we would for anyone. But what I really got out of it was all the negativeness we hear lately of people moving away. How nice it was to see someone who did not want to live anywhere else. It seemed like there were a couple who traveled, they've seen the world, and they didn't want to live anywhere else other than the municipality of Argyle. No offense to Clare or Yarmouth, they're great municipalities, but they chose Argyle over other municipalities, and we're quite proud to be very vocal about it. So since then I haven't talked to them. Maybe they moved somewhere else, but I believe we made an excellent impression on them, and it was nice to hear that they really enjoyed our municipality.
yeah, thank you. I know. I think it was you that asked him why Argyle.
I did. I
He
wanted
said
to know.
because of Argyle.
Mm.
That's it.
Was
And,
that-
and the gentleman had worked for 10, 11 years, I think, in the United States.
Correct.
So he's fluent in English also, and he liked the bilingualism, the chance to speak English also. Yeah. Be nice to have him.
For sure.
Okay, councillors' reports. Anybody have anything to report? I guess I got you in early. I knew you would probably.
Oh, that's fine.
Anything else to report, LeBlanc?
Not exactly. It seems
Okay.
like this past month here, my meetings keep getting pushed back, I guess. So I don't have a whole lot this month to report on.
Yeah. Richard Donaldson.
Just to report that we got confirmation and approval from Department of Health for our project manager to move ahead with the RFPs on the Nikhil project.
Yeah, right.
So he's hoping to have it advertised in the Chronicle this week and transcontinental papers by next week. So we only can cross our fingers now that it comes in somewhere close to budget and the project can move forward. And if it doesn't look like the project will move on. If this last attempt fails with the RFPs,
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not saying that the project's dead, but it's horses walking on two legs.
Thank you. Muse, Councillor Muse.
I've been approached to sit on a board, and perhaps I should have brought this on the agenda, but it's the Southwest Nova Biosphere Reserve Association. And what it is I wouldn't be actually representing the municipality of Argyle. It's more representing Yarmouth County. Like, there was somebody on that board from that's on the municipality of Yarmouth, and he has stepped down, and I got a call to see if I was interested in sitting. In order for me to sit there, I have to have the okay from this council. So I would need a motion here to say that I'm appointed to that committee. And again, it's probably something I should have put on the agenda for that, but if we can do that now, if not, then we'll have to do it in another meeting. But we just need a motion to say that you're appointing me to sit on that board.
Okay. I think we had, our previous warden used to be on that board, I think. Eugene? Years
Oh,
ago?
could be,
I think.
yeah. It covers, it's wide area, Queens, Annapolis, Yarmouth, Digby,
Yeah.
and Shelburne counties. So
Yeah.
the meetings are held, they rotate, the next meeting is in Liverpool and.
Yeah. So what's the council wish? Do you want to have a chance to discuss this? Or think about it, or do you want to?
Is it going to cost us any money to have you there, do you know?
I have no idea who pays my
Yes.
travel if the meetings, I don't know if they have a budget, it wasn't explained to me, or if it comes directly from the municipality.
Maybe
I
if you
don't
could
know.
bring some more information for our next meeting, that's my opinion, to see just exactly what it involves, or do we have to pay some kind of an honorarium, or, which I don't think so, but pay mileage, or what it involves, and what does it do, what do you do, what does it involve?
Well,
Maybe you could,
It's new to me. I know it promotes conservation of different, like maybe when you look at the Tobiatic, and and to see if they can develop either like what's going to happen in or what they're suggesting is going to go on in the Tobiatic, that type of and it will deal with farming and fishing and whatever. It's preserve our natural resources, I guess.
I get you.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's new to me as well, so I'm not 100% sure what happens. If there was any cost, I think the only thing would be the mileage for me to travel to the meetings. I can't see that there would be any other cost, but maybe they have a budget. I have no idea.
Do they, was there a letter sent to the municipality, to our CAO?
No, I just got a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they told me that they would need a letter from the municipality that the council had approved the position, my position on as a board member on that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I guess I had the same concerns about exactly what this entailed, and as far as cost to the municipality. Chances are, if they want a letter from the municipality, chances are they're expecting the municipality to pay your mileage. But I think we should probably have that confirmed before we do appoint, with all its merits, and it might be the, really great thing to be involved with, and, but I guess just to know before we make a motion and appoint you would be, for me, would be great.
Okay, everybody agree with that? Yeah. Okay, we'll get that for our next meeting, probably. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody, I think, Surratt, you want to make a
Just a
report?
few items. We had the AGM, the annual general meeting for waste check, which I've just been involved in this term here as a councillor, and getting into what's going on. But we had the AGM. There's a lot of going on with the waste check and what they do to help the schools. They visit businesses to try to recycle. They have programs for the business of the month. They have all kinds of promotions that they do to help us, recycle our products instead of sending it to the landfill. And I was just amazed at the AGM of what they do. Our CAO was there also. He's been there before, but it doesn't matter. I was very impressed on how much, it does cost us a lot of money. I realize that. I don't know if it's in the $17,000 or $18,000 range that we pay to waste check, but let me tell you that they have a dedicated staff. We have a former councillor that's here that was on there before. I took a few of your positions anyhow, and it's very, very interesting, and I really believe we're getting our money's worth and then some on that. I just wanted to report on that. The other thing is that Janine Dousa, our EMO coordinator, had a meeting at the fire hall in Threads Island about, just in case there was a disaster, the bridge let go, heaven forbid, new or old, let go, and they just wanted, we had the bridge committee that was there, myself, Chris D'Artemont, Janine, and Peggy, and discussing what would happen if a bridge let go or something else happened in the municipality, what kind of arrangements that could be made to bring furnace oil, propane, make sure you got electricity, people stay in their own homes. So we're just in the start of that, of those meetings, getting organized, and I think what we'll find out from those meetings, it can be applied to a lot of things in our own municipality. So I got to congratulate Janine for getting that going and getting the bridge committee onto that, and it's ongoing, and I'll report when we get towards the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Warden D'Artemont.
Thank you, Warden D'Artemont. I'd like to report, I'm one of the members from the municipality on the airport corporation, and in the recent news, we've heard that Clare was pulling out of the airport, and I guess I've been tasked along with our CEO LMUs to prepare some scenarios and try to approach the municipality of Clare, because we would like them to stay on and be, contribute to the airport. So I'll be meeting with them in the next few days and trying to arrange a presentation to the municipality of Clare. It would be a presentation en français, which will be different for me, but I guess I'm pretty sure I can get some help locally here and get a presentation done and hope to get them back on side. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it's the councillor's reports. CAO's report. All had a chance to read it?
Short one as usual.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Or maybe the CAO has to. Did you want to highlight anything, or is there anything?
I'd like to highlight and I think it's later in the agenda, the importance of the municipality of Argyll examining our current options for economic development and how we're going to proceed moving forward. A lot of uncertainty. We have the Economic Council, that was a pilot project that will will sunset at the end of March. That was what it is, a pilot project. A strategic plan will come out of that, but how it will be executed is still unknown. The RDAs are currently being, closed up across the province, and they're looking at the regional enterprise networks as an alternative for that. So there's different regions, there's different borders that are being drawn, and so the whole regional economic development model is changing. And then we have our own economic development plan that the Low Group is working on, and so I fully expect recommendations of a practical nature to come out of that. So the municipality will have to make decisions moving forward in terms of, okay, what's the importance of economic development in our community? What do we do on our own? And what do we do in partnership with our neighbors? And which is why on the agenda list, there is a request for decision around the subcommittee. I think a subcommittee of council, similar to your policy committee decision, that would focus some of the effort with that group on economic development to bring a recommendation to the whole of council. It's a complex issue, and I think we have to measure our options and what's available to us. There is also the wild card of the Conseil développement économique de la Nouvelle-Écosse, who has recently posted a full-time economic development officer for the region, and what we're hearing is that they want their priorities and our priorities to line up. That's positive. That's a positive sign, and that might be an option for us to deal with some of the regional, like the local economic development initiatives, through our community development officer and this new position, and perhaps consider what our involvement would be at the regional level. So there's lots to think about, and I guess that's a highlight of mine, because I should say, it is one of the priorities of council with the strategic plan. The economic development council, the economic development piece is a very critical piece. We've said we want to bring our community back. We want to bring our people back in the community, and we've also said that we need to work on the creation of jobs in order to bring them back into the community. So that's, I guess, the highlight. I would highlight that particular piece. Budget season is upon us. We are working on the budgets internally, and we also are working with our regional partners to determine what our investments are going to be in some of our regional partnerships as well. And so it's like anything else. There's less to work with, but there's more out there to consider. So that process will proceed in through the month of March, into April, and into May as well.
Yeah. We don't have to be bored. I think there's plenty to do.
There's one or two items on the plate.
Yeah.
And I mean, any questions on the department heads' reports that are attached, I'd be happy to answer as well.
Sure.
Just a question on doctor recruitment, and this might be an unfair question, but I hope it isn't. Any commitment from the doctor recruitment? Do you see any commitment for anybody when you went to Sherbrooke? Or is that kind of too early for the students there to make a commitment? Or you're not going there to get a commitment, you're going there just to show our presence and that we're interested and we all love them?
Well, the Sherbrooke group is unique because a lot of the students are from the local area. So they're all, we focus on the Nova Scotia students.
Yes.
Our focus is to try to get those with roots in Nova Scotia, specifically in our region, to be interested and to understand what options are available to them here. We do showcase the Pubnico AM Clark Clinic and the Harbour South Clinic. But we also talk about the importance of having them come back into the community and understand that not everybody wants to be a family practitioner. So your question isn't unfair, but I guess the answer the answer might be it depends, because we talk to first-year students and we talk to fourth-year students. And the first-year students, you're really just talking to them about, listen.
They're 6 years away.
Yes,
Oh,
this is an
it's not
investment.
4.
It's
It's not 4, right?
So
It's
in
6.
year 4, they get into, at that point, they have a really good idea as to where they want to focus. And it could be family practitioner, which is our focus,
Yeah.
but it could also be internists or specialists. If they're internists or specialists, they may not have an opportunity to come here, and our incentive package, which we share with the municipality and town of Yarmouth, is designed for family practitioners.
Yeah.
So we have seen success in recruitment. Some of that success pre-existed the Sherbrooke trip, and some of it, I think, there's still potential. I would say there's good potential for, of that group, perhaps 1, 2, 3. It's difficult to assess, but we get a real sense that they're interested in coming back. And so some are from Clare and they would prefer to be in Clare, but Clare has the fortunate problem of filling up. And so these clinics can fill up fairly quickly when you get the right people at the right time. And sometimes, you don't want to lose that person in the community because you don't know whether a doctor will stay long-term or not. So you have to be, the recruitment, when you fill your clinic, it gets a little bit more interesting because you can't stop recruitment. So Clare is still showing they're still present at the Sherbrooke meals, and they make sure that people understand that the Clare Clinic is potentially still available to them. And I see some real opportunities to partner with Claire when the moment comes that they're full and they have people that want to come in the community. We think that we have some very good options that will bring those people back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We'll go on to other business, number 9, and the first one is congratulations to Dr. Loveridge. Did you want to speak on that?
We received a quick note that Dr. Loveridge had received an award from the Society of Rural Physicians of Canada. It's a long service award given to those who have done at least 20 years in rural practice, or as Dr. Loveridge calls it, the wilderness, in his creative language. We were told this, and I know that the committee, the recruitment committee, is intending on sending a letter of congratulations, and so it was also suggested that perhaps council could do the same. So that's that.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. After that, now, a question now, do you send them a letter, do you send them a certificate, or probably a letter?
We've been debating this at the staff level, actually, not this in particular, but other requests of this nature.
Yeah.
And sometimes, certificates are nice. Plaques can be inexpensive and durable.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of playing with a couple of options there. I don't know that we landed on one for sure.
Okay,
But
yeah.
we like the idea of a small plaque because it's...
Something he can put in his office?
Yeah,
maybe hang in
it's-
his office or something, or?
It's something that's a bit more durable, and
Yes.
I mean, and we're talking about 20 years of service. We're talking about heroism. We were talking about those are big deals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it's worth looking into instead of purchasing a gift or or doing not enough, which is perhaps a piece of paper that says thank you. We were toying with that idea.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll appreciate your input on that.
Yeah, okay, good. Next item, Kayak Symposium request. I guess we've had the presentation, and we didn't make a decision on, we all agreed, I guess it was a good thing. But what they're looking for is something more concrete. Alain, you were talking to these people lately, or?
Yes, and there was a little miscommunication that I'm, a little sad that happened, but we, I think, expected what we came out of the presentation was we didn't make a decision, and council had said, well, let's see what the other 2 units decide, because we knew that we're going to go to the other 2 units, and that process took longer than expected and still not resolved. And I think, there was some frustration expressed by the organizers around, the length of time that not necessarily that it's taken, but that they're getting word that it might only be May or June before they know in certain instances, right? Not from us, but in certain other instances, they might not know until then. So that's a bit of a frustrating process for them. I can understand and appreciate that. Their presentation was it late 2012 or early 2013? I can't recall.
Early 2013, I think.
I think it was in January.
Right,
So
isn't it January?
it is in between our grants process. So they were made very clear. We made that clear to them, but we also made clear that we would work with the other 2 units and come up with some sort of solution. But we have not come to any sort of solution, and so I guess what I'm asking council at this point, this is drug on a couple of months now. So drug on's a hard way to say it, but
Yeah.
I guess what I'd like to know from council is what would be your instruction? How would you want to deal with this? Do you want to make a decision on this and lead in that decision? This is, if you recall, the request was for $4,000. And so understanding that the other 2 units will be considering this, you may want to make a decision on the investment. We know it's in Argyle. It is a unique event, and you've all seen the presentation. That's an option that you have. I will say that the presentation predated the policy changes. So under normal circumstances, if a presentation would have been made today, we would have said, okay, our policy is this is your grants policy, this is what you do. But when they made the presentation, the policy was not as restrictive as it is now. So I think that particular decision is similar to the decision you made for Paraba's play. That particular presentation and request predated those changes.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm asking council for direction on this. We are getting communication from the organizing committee on that.
Well, if everybody waits for the other to make a decision first, it's not gonna work. You know? Somebody has to, and if they want to set this up here in our municipality, I think we should, you know, do something.
So I guess I'm just trying to figure out, so we're kind of waiting for somebody, including ourselves, to step up to the plate. So have we had communication with the municipality of Yarmouth and the town? And,
Yes, we have.
And what is their answer?
They've not made a decision on it as of yet. And the latest communication is one of the two will probably not make a decision until May, which is not unusual, because I mean even our policy is the same. It will, when you're asking for money outside of the deadlines, it's very normal to be pushed into the grants to organizations process. So it's not unusual, but I think there's an expectation, there was an expectation gap here between the organizer and perhaps the communication amongst the municipal units. So there has been communication, but I haven't received an answer.
So I guess, since it is in our municipality, we're the ones that have to take the lead. When the municipality of Yarmouth or the town of Yarmouth have something that's occurring in their municipality or town, they run over here as fast as they can and expect us to make decisions as fast as we can. So to me, I kind of feel like, they should, we step up to the plate, they should step up to the plate and keep their end of the bargain, If that's what council, if this is what we want to do, support this and have an event in our municipality. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor LeBlanc.
I think in these tough economical times, we should probably be careful where we spend our money. And one area I don't mind spending is when we spend to gain. And with the economical spin-offs that this might possibly have for a municipality, I don't foresee this as being one of the more negative options we've had for grants. I think since this has quite a bit of potential to pump more money into our municipalities, I mean, they did say there would be numerous people coming down from all parts of the world, staying in our motels and whatnot, eating in our restaurants, as well as it is in a time of our season where we do have our tourism operations going on. I think we should try to help these people as much as we want. I'll go as far as make the motion that we accept the request for a grant for $4,000.
Thank you. Councillor Surratt.
There's a motion on the floor.
Should we,
Yeah, we need a seconder.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. Surratt.
Like Councillor LeBlanc, I've been looking at this for a little bit and reading some stuff on it in the presentation that was made. And it's not very often, I've been here 4 years, that I've seen, the Jeux d'Acadie were pretty well Argyle, pretty all Argyle. We did some stuff in Yarmouth, of course, in some of the schools, but this is certainly destined for Argyle. They're going to be eating at some of our staying in some of our establishments, sleeping, like I said, sleeping, eating, traveling around our municipality. And we've got people coming from all around, from what I like Councillor LeBlanc said, all around the world. And I think the $4,000 ask is not out of reason. And I certainly do appreciate them making the presentation, and I support this initiative. It's, I think it's well worth it.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Indian Sluice Bridge webcam. Is that local, Guy? Yes?
Is there a bridge that we go somewhere in the municipality? If you would like me to speak a little bit.
Yes,
on it,
if you may, if you want to. I think you're the one that asked to have this on the
Yes,
agenda.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
I guess with the webcam that was installed, which, first of all, let me start way back. It was brought to council that if we could support the purchasing or the installation of installation of a webcam at the Indian Sluice Bridge, and the committee, the council certainly supported that proposal, and Councillor Document said, why don't we approach TIR, Transportation and Infrastructure Renewal, Kathy, remember that word, TIR? Anyhow, and and we sent a letter, and certainly they did support it. Well, over the last, I'd say month and a little bit, the webcam was installed by TIR, and it's on the Sluice Point side, doesn't matter which side it is, but it only shows one side of the project, and it shows very little of the going-ons. Well, I've said myself, one side or one camera is better than nothing, but lo and behold, this camera is not live. It is just taking a picture. It's like if you look at it, you would think that something is frozen, nothing is moving. It's just like a picture you have on a wall. And a lot of people, I've had a lot of calls. Some people are here tonight that are here supporting, of course, a webcam. Earl Muse from the Bridge Committee, Darrell Crosby, who's been looking at all kinds of webcams over the province that are live. And they've come, asking me if I couldn't bring this to council, that if we couldn't, since we did approve the money for a camera, for a webcam, TIR did support it, but it's not, I guess, what we were looking for, something live that you could see what was going on, and what was going on with the whole project, not only one corner of the project, but the whole project. I've had probably, I would say, 20, 25 emails and phone calls on this Facebook, on our Facebook site for the Indian Sluice Bridge Committee. We've had numerous people emailing and telling us how useless it is, and it doesn't show the project hardly at all. If you didn't know what to press, you wouldn't see anything going on. It's at a terrible, terrible place where it's at. We would want it in the middle of the bridge, or you would see the whole project going. You wouldn't believe it, a lot of people from outside of our area is looking at the project and want to know what's going on. Today they crossed a crane over on a barge, and I would guess there was 100 people there watching. And I was there myself, that's why I know a lot of cars. So what I'm asking, what I've been asked to bring to council is if we could move this webcam further and get the proper webcam, a live webcam like we have for the Blue Nose, like we have at Cap-Pourcheux, like we have at the World Trade Center in Halifax, that they're building the new World Trade Center. Another thing about the live webcam that Mr. Crosby told me was that you could be at work during the day, come at night, and you can review what went on in the day. If that would be your wish, I know not everybody's interested in the bridge, but if that was your wish, you can go there and check what was going on during the day. We approved the camera, we approved the amount of money. If DIR brought something, we approved that, they did. I don't believe it serves a purpose. I believe that, you know, the more people that can look at our area, maybe come down because of what's going on, it's gonna be over another year and a half yet, year and 7 months. I think we have a lot to gain. Plus, that camera can be used at different locations in the municipality, whether it be at the Village Historique, to see some of the things that are going on. I would think at the Tuna Museum would be great when they do the weighing of the tunas. Maybe we could show it in Little River Harbor, Como's Hill, the deplorable state of the road. That, of course, I'm pushing this. No, that I'm just adding a few smiles there. But no, we could use it after it's done at the Indian Sluice Bridge. It could be used at different places in the municipality and a well-worth investment. That's what I have to say. If you have any question, I'd be certainly willing to respond, or the chairman of the Bridge Committee, Earl Muse, is here. If the council so wished, he could answer what I can.
Thank you. Deputy Warden.
Okay, thank you, Warden D'Entremont. I remember the motion being passed to approach TIR to install the camera, but I can't remember, and somebody can correct me, is if the municipality would do so, if we had proved the money for the webcam, because I remember I'm the one who suggested going to TIR, because, you know, I thought that at that time, I thought that it was kind of expensive to have a webcam. So, you know, that was my option. But was it approved? I guess I'm asking, I don't remember, I don't remember if it was, you know, I remember the motion to approach TIR, but I don't remember the money aspect of it.
I can answer what, I don't know what the other councils remember, but we said that we approved the amount of money, but if TIR could come in with a camera, then so be it. It wouldn't cost us anything. It would save us spending that money. That's what I recall, but the other councillors certainly can respond to.
Thank you.
Our Chris Froughton, our deputy clerk, has sent the motion. Moved by Guy, seconded by Richard, that council approve the purchase of camera from QVISTO Incorporated to be installed at the Indian Sluice Bridge as part of the 2012-13 fiscal budget, and that Scott Muse coordinate with the Indian Sluice Replacement Committee to arrange for installation, conditional on arrangements for proper location and suitable power source. Now, subsequent to that, there was discussions around the TIR, and I think there was consensus around the fact that if TIR was able to do that, that would be suitable to council. But there is a motion. Now, there's no amount on the motion. No, it just says approve the purchase of the camera, and it says from whom, thank you, Delbar, to purchase it from, and so it's basically, that motion was never, to the best of my knowledge, was never reversed or I guess removed or reneged.
I think it's, you know, be all right. Councillor LeBlanc.
I'm just curious, in your quote that you requested from the company that you would purchase the webcam from, have you made it certain for sure that this webcam, once the bridge is complete, that this webcam can be removed and easily replaced at such events like you spoke of?
You know what? I'm sorry.
You can answer
the
question.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Earl Muse, the chair of the Indian Sluice Bridge Replacement Committee. If I understand a letter that was written by myself to you, dated in 2011, I believe, requesting for what is called usually Nova Scotia webcams, but the company name is QUIR from Halifax, and yes, these webcams are quite portable. Matter of fact, they can be installed as long as they have access to power. They don't even have to have let's say, access to internet. They can go Wi-Fi, 3G. So once it's done with a particular place, it's a matter of asking this company to come back, remove it, and install it wherever you would want to have it installed.
So the company has to come back and do it. It can't be something done by the municipality.
I don't know. Let's say, I know that they would have to come in and install it.
Yeah.
And the original request was for $2,000, and I checked again with this company, and it's still the same thing. In the motion or in the information that is before you, there's also a $99 a month fee. And that I am making an assumption that has to do with the cost of a router and the cost of internet. When we made the original request, there was Mr. Eddie Madden, whose property is next to the bridge, had at that point, at that time, offered to have the webcam linked to his router and his internet. I spoke to Mr. Madden again late this afternoon. That's why it's not part of the presentation, and I thank you for giving me an opportunity to clarify, and he's offered the same thing. So I'm saying that probably it's going to be $2,000 and very little cost per month thereafter, because all they have to do is hook it to power, hook it to cable, and cable is right there on the pole, ready for them to stream live.
Thank you very much. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it answers my question, I guess. Personally, I feel that we should get an exact quote. It seems quite uncertain. If my personal belief is, if this was a movable webcam and the municipality owned a webcam that we could put at all of our events in our municipality, I think it's a great idea. But no offense to the Indian Sluice Bridge. I think the bridge is very important. Obviously, there'd be a lot of people who couldn't get to their homes without it. But a webcam on a bridge doesn't seem like a top priority to the municipality for me, just to stare at the bridge, I guess. But a movable webcam that we could place at the bridge for now, obviously, for sure, as well as any other event, I think is a great idea. So personally, myself, I'd like to see a little more. A little more concrete evidence of what this would cost and its capabilities.
Thank you. Councillor Bourque.
I had the same question as Lucia. I was concerned about if it was removable or if you move it to another event, you'd want people to go to your event, not watch it online. That's the only thing I can say maybe negative about this. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Councillor Muse.
I would be a little concerned too about the cost, where these companies usually, if it's anything like these the alarm system companies and whatever, they install, but there's always a charge. And another concern that I would have would be, do we have to sign a contract with these people? Something that you would have to find out. Is there a contract that we're stuck with this for a 3-year contract or whatever? I would be surprised if you can just take that camera and move it. I think there will probably be a cost for that company to come and do that. I think they have to, if they have to come and install it the first time, chances are they have to come and install it no matter where you're going to bring it, right? I don't think it's just a camera that you hook on a pole and it works. You know, there's work to that. And I don't know that we'd have to know whether or not it's a contract. How long do we have to sign a contract for? And are we going to be stuck with this $99 a month for 3 years after the project is done? And it costs every time we want to move it. You know, just something to find out before we can make a decision on that, I would say.
Thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Well, I'm in the same boat, I guess, is Councillor Bourque and Councillor LeBlanc and Muse. I'm sure that, you know, it would be a good thing to have, you know, in the municipality of Argyle. It would be super. But it's like Councillor Muse just said, you know, I'm sure that if we spend the taxpayers' money on a webcam, it's like Councillor LeBlanc said, you know, we should have more of in-depth cost of what this would cost to install, to maintain, if it has to go to Whitesport, Tuna, Pubnico, if we have to get them to come down and what the cost would be every time you want to move it. So if you moved it for one event in Whitesport and the next event in Pubnico and the next event in Commodes Hill, you know, what is involved in the cost? And I agree with the other councillors on that decision, like, you know, to find out what the cost would be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warden Don Ramon. Again, I guess originally, I'm the one who suggested the TIR because of the costs, you know, associated, which, you know, I wanted to hear was zero, and it was. And I still believe that, so I can't, you know, I can't support a motion for this. I guess I'm the one who suggested it, and it worked. It might not be what the people wanted, but it is a webcam. It is there, so thank you.
Councillor Surratt.
Probably in answering a few questions that have been brought out, we have a tent. We have a tent that we've purchased, and we certainly have to put it up, move it out. It costs money to do that. If it's going to a site, whether it be at the Tuna Festival, the tent that we have, there's a cost in bringing that over there. And so be it. There's not a question. It costs, you have to pay to move it there, but it's for an event. It's for a good event. The Tuna Festival brings a lot of people in there, and you know, I think the cost to have bought the tent and to move it around, I think is a great idea. Some of the concerns about I guess tourism or people, you'd want people to come, like Councillor Bourque said, to come into your site, which is a very good point. That's what you want. You want people to come to your site. And I think that this is what this is all about. This is about people seeing something that's being done, seeing an event that's, you know, hasn't been seen at this particular site for 103 to 104 years. And this webcam, I mean, there's been people from Vancouver, there's on the Facebook, there's people from PEI, there's people from Halifax, people from Ottawa, people from the county that I see that were there today, and they've gone on the site and seen some of what's going on. They want to see what was going on. So, you know, there is value into this. I do know it's a lot of money. I realize that. For our municipality, we're not loaded with money. I think it's a good investment on our part, and there is emotion that was made and passed. Thank you.
This is, sorry.
Thank you. Yes.
That was the point I was going to make. We're in an interesting predicament right now because the motion, while there was consensus on if the TIR option was available, that would go in that direction, we do have a motion to approve that purchase. So we're discussing a motion that has been passed already. So interesting,
Yeah.
to be sure. This, well, I mean, we have options here. We either respect the motion that's in play. You can repeal a motion with no notice if 2/3 of your voting membership agree. I don't know that what council's wishes are, but if council was to do nothing, I think it has a motion that it needs to respect. And while there's no amount of money attached to it, perhaps a suggestion to council, if there, because I'm hearing there's a lot of questions around this. Perhaps we want to get these questions answered before making any sort of decision. This is a unique one because there is a motion in play, and I think that council and staff focused on the consensus piece that came thereafter, right? We all did. We all focused on the fact that TIR provided a solution that appeared to be the solution that was consistent with what council had said, okay, staff, this is where we'd like you to go. So, it puts us in a unique situation. I think that if you are not going to support this particular motion, you have to defeat this motion. You have to kill the motion. And to do that is a 2/3 pass. If your issue is around questions, then perhaps it's best not to make a decision to undo if you're not prepared to do so. To undo a motion is a considerable,
Yeah.
it's not a small thing to consider.
You know, from what I hear around the table, I think we should have some more information. Have some concrete numbers.
But we have to defeat the motion for that to happen, correct?
No?
No, I would suggest if you defeat the motion, there'd be no further work required, because
No.
what you've basically told staff and the community is that you're not going to do it. If you want additional information, or if you want to understand fully some of the, I guess, you know, for lack of a better term, hidden costs around installation and reinstallation, then you may want to leave the motion the way that it is and come back to the decision. I'm just suggesting, I'm not trying to suggest anything from a political standpoint.
No.
I'm suggesting something from a motion and legal conduct standpoint. And so that's the piece I'd like to just make clear to you, that you have that to
Yeah.
tackle.
Councillor Muse,
Because my light work has been on for 15 minutes.
your light is not on, but,
Yeah, you can barely see it.
oh,
Yeah,
Donaldson.
exactly. I was gonna say 15 minutes ago, I was gonna have Ellen read the motion back to us again because I knew we was completely going in the wrong direction. And I'm not willing to retract this, I was seconder on that motion. We approved a webcam of some type. Does it necessarily have to be that company with that cost? Is there other options? Like, that's what I thought we had tasked staff to do. The option that we got for free is not working. So is there another option there besides this company? Like, is there any other way to put some kind of a live feed on that bridge? And if there isn't, I'm standing by the motion we made, and we made it without figures originally, so we just have to swallow it and do it, because I'm not retracting.
Thank you. Muse?
In the motion, did it mention that TIR, that you would go to TIR?
No.
Not in that
The
particular.
motion, that was just something that was discussed after? Okay, because if it did, then we honored that motion by getting TIR there.
No.
that
But it
wasn't
wasn't
the
in,
motion.
if it wasn't in the motion,
Point
then
it up here again.
then I think, like Councillor Donaldson said, if the motion was passed to do that, I would say that we have to honor that motion. Now, maybe we need a little more information on it, but, I wouldn't be comfortable in retracting that motion either, myself.
Thank you. LeBlanc? Did you want to speak again, sir?
No, I'm good.
Hmm?
I'm fine.
You, okay. Deputy Warden?
Okay, I guess I'm reading here, a motion was passed in 2012 to approach TIR to install a camera, and if not, the municipality would do so. Is that the motion?
That's not the motion I've read. The motion that you have found there is dated when?
But this is the request that we just got, Guy's request.
Oh, it's included, I'm sorry, it's included in the request. Just,
No, that's
Okay, so this
That's
is
not
just,
official,
okay, and
that's
you,
not an official
yeah,
motion.
all right.
That's something you got.
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused there. Thank you.
I think.
Yeah.
Something I remember.
Yeah, the official motion on record is the one that I've
Yeah.
read.
Yeah.
And it makes no reference to the provincial option,
Yeah.
but I know by consensus that was addressed thereafter.
That's right.
And so I guess the question is the TIR option suitable in the eyes of council? If the answer is no, then you have a motion on the floor that you have to either honor or defeat. If the answer is yes, then you have an issue with the wording around a motion and a consensus. I think the motion has quite a bit of power in this particular instance.
Well, I kind of agree with Donaldson and Muse, you know, we have made the motion. And our second, or our backup didn't turn out the way we had hoped, apparently. I haven't seen it, but the results, so what is council willing to do, or do you want to do?
Proceed as the motion indicates. I'm sure when we've discussed this the first time, that there was some costs associated. We knew it wasn't free. There was figures given to us.
Yes.
I don't know.
$2,000 wasn't mentioned.
What's
But
that?
it's not in the motion, but that was mentioned at this.
Yeah, I mean, the figures that we were talking about were relatively close to what's there. So I mean, we made the motion knowing these figures.
And many times, we don't include figures in the motion anyway. Guy?
Yes, certainly, I know we're into a little debacle here, what to do, but I would certainly suggest that let's get some concrete numbers and bring them back. We have the company here that I've provided. One of them, I would like for staff to go and contact this company along, maybe with Scott, who knows our IT guy that knows other companies. Maybe he can come with, a better number, whatever, since the motion doesn't have an exact figure, and to bring it back to council. I'm comfortable with that, maybe so we can move along with the meeting, if you guys are.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. The numbers that we're throwing around here, $2,000 and $99 a month and that, where did they come from?
This comes in the,
From the Indian Sluice?
no, this is, if you looked on the package I sent, Natalie Smith, Marketing and Sales Manager, Nova Scotia Webcams. And the good morning, Guy, and it says, I was given your contact information by Darrell Crosby.
Yeah.
He had blah, blah, blah indicated, blah, blah, blah. A typical camera installation costs $19.99 with a monthly maintenance fee
Okay.
of $99.90.
Yeah.
Based on a 3-year agreement. So that's what we'd want to find out. What does this 3-year agreement mean? Does that mean we have to keep it 3 years?
We have to
Whatever.
pay for 3 years, for sure.
Yeah. Of course, based on the fact that this is a shorter term progress, because I told her it would be a 1.5 years and 3/4 term progress, and whether internet is already available, which it is, in the area, the price will have to be adjusted accordingly.
Okay.
So there's the person we can
I
contact.
guess, we didn't get those numbers. It didn't come from staff here.
No, this is something that was sent to me, that I sent in my package. No, the staff never got any numbers because TIR, that Calvin, Councillor Dartmouth, had suggested, said yes for the webcam, so
Okay.
we left it at that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Councillor LeBlanc?
Okay, I'm confused. I'm going to direct my question, I guess, to our CEO. As I understand, we have a motion on the table saying we are asking to get a webcam regardless of the cost. That was the original motion made by previous council. At the same time, the councillors asking to respect that motion are saying we have to go back and get more information on the pricing. If we're respecting the motion states that we get the camera regardless of the cost. Personally, our second option is to defeat the motion, if I am not mistaken. I'm not comfortable with getting a webcam that's staring at a bridge no matter what the cost. I think we should do more research, and if defeating the motion is the only way to do that, that's what I suggest we do. Am I incorrect or correct in saying the statement I just did?
If we defeat the motion, then it's done.
So we can remake.
Well, I suppose.
The motion
No.
the motion can only be defeated if 2/3 actually agree to
Yeah.
do that, number one. If you defeat the motion, then you've basically undid what you've said you were going to do. Any other option from the staff's perspective leaves the purchase of that webcam on the table for us to execute on your behalf. The reason why that motion was not executed the way that typical motions are executed is because we had that consensus provision that we said we would do that. However, we would look at the province of Nova Scotia option as a number one. So that was the decision of council. We respected that decision. Now we're back to square one. Ultimately, from a staff perspective, we will proceed with that motion unless it's defeated. Getting additional information on pricing will not change the fact that that motion says we're buying it from that particular organization. It won't change that. Some of the costs that you might be concerned about moving it around in different areas, those costs would be independent of the Indian Sluice Bridge decision. You may, after 2.5 years or whenever the construction is completed, council may decide to sell the webcam. That's an option that council could entertain at that time to recover a portion of your costs, or you can make a different decision. Really what you have in front of you is you're buying the camera unless you want to defeat the motion in play, or unless there is an argument around the fact that the TIR does in fact meet the criteria. And I think based on what I see here, the motion is probably stronger than the consensus thereafter, even if we acted on the consensus and that was clearly where council wanted us to proceed. It was clear as day that council wanted us to do the TIR first. And so that's where we are. And it's as simple as that. So if you're not prepared to reverse the motion, we're getting a camera.
Charette?
I guess before anything goes any further, certainly I've sat around this table for 4 years and I've seen a lot of things being proposed in different areas of the municipality. I've seen whether it be, purchasing playgrounds that were already paid for by the municipality, playground that council paid for material, the land and toys and swings, and then the first thing we turn around and we go and we spend another $10,000 to purchase a playground. I've seen some money spent on whether it be a beach somewhere where, there's only maybe the people that live in that area go to that beach and use their boat to go to the islands off Como's Hill, or whether it be to support, the village or what's going on there. I think in our little corner of the municipality, we're not very big. We don't ask very often for very much. And I think it's bringing people. I see people stopping at the garage, looking at the picture of the bridge what it's going to look like after they've gone, and have a look at the bridge. I think it's good for the municipality. I think it brings travel. It brings people around. Although some councillors are not interested in looking at a bridge, don't forget, not everybody's interested at looking at a playground or playing in that playground or going into your community centers and going to the beaches or going to a village. But you know what? If you look at the big picture, it helps our municipality definitely and gets people around, and maybe they'll go visit some of your areas. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councillor Muse, your turn again.
Turn again. Well, if I was going to base my decision, and I think our decision has already been made by the motion, and I don't think I would base my decision on comparing what other areas are getting. That's not the way that I would make my decision here. Might have been some bad decisions made along the way, and there might have been some good ones. But I don't think that just because we've made bad ones, if we felt, and I'm not saying we feel this is a bad one, I think this is a very, very good idea to have that camera. But I don't think that we can take decisions that were made and say, well, we made a bad one there, we make a bad one here. You know, I don't think we can compare that. I just have to disagree with some of the comments, that's all, you know, and not to say that I disagree with the camera. I just disagree maybe with, now, what do we need here? Do we need a motion to keep this going, or we just say, we're gonna honor our motion and we continue? And I think if that's the case, I think we go ahead. With the comment, Councillor LeBlanc saying that, you know, that we don't know, it's like a carte blanche type of, you know, go out and buy a camera. I think we have some figures. We have some figures. It's been checked out. And I think we know basically what it's going to cost us. It looks like it's not going to cost us more than $2,000 to bring it. We just don't know if we have to sign a 3-year contract. But according to the letter, I would say that we probably won't have to sign a 3-year contract. They will make adjustments. And once the bridge is in, like CLMU said, we could decide to sell the camera. We could decide to hide it in the closet. It doesn't mean that we have to pay extra to move it around if we don't want to. So actually we are buying the camera. That's our camera, I understand that, right?
This is what
The camera is bought.
The camera is not bought yet.
No. But
If the motion proceeds, it's yours, yes. It belongs to the municipality of Argyle.
It's not a contract that they install it and it's it.
No,
Okay.
that is correct.
So the camera becomes ours. Then what we do with it after could cost us absolutely nothing if we don't use it any more than that. So I would say that we go ahead and just honor the motion if it was passed and go ahead with it.
Thank you. Donaldson.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, when we made this motion, we weren't doing it blind.
No.
We had numbers, we had figures, we knew there was in this range when we made that motion, so, just to point that out to the councillors that weren't there when that motion was passed and discussed. So, I mean, we've wasted, what, an hour on nothing?
It wasn't a motion, no, we didn't make a motion to buy a camera at any cost.
No, I know that.
No, that's what you're saying,
That's
yeah.
what it was starting to sound like.
Okay? Can we move on to the next item?
Wow. By all means.
I can't go, my computer's gone, Dave. Been here so long.
You should have charged it before you left
Well,
home.
it was charged, I had 70%.
Oh, well, no wonder.
And it's gone.
I came with 65 and
I think we should adjourn the morning.
All right. Economic Development Subcommittee selection.
So I just want to be very clear, Mr. Warden, by continuing the fact that I have not heard a motion otherwise,
That's right.
staff will make this happen.
Well,
That's
1, 2,
that's what I'm hearing.
4, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Subcommittee selection, Economic Development. We don't have that committee yet, right?
No.
And that's what you're looking for, is to appoint the subcommittee.
Yes, I actually have two requests under that item. One is the staff in anticipation of the execution of vision, mission, and et cetera.
Yes, yeah.
We'll have probably monthly meetings at the staff level. What we would like to have is 1 or 2 council members join us for that discussion. That particular discussion will be on the I guess the day-to-day planning. It would be on where we are in terms of progress with the strategy. What initiatives are we focused on? What's the timelines, et cetera. How are we communicating with internally and externally about how we're moving forward? That's one request I'd like, because it's that important. We want to have a group of council members at that level. The other is I had mentioned earlier, the Economic Development Subcommittee. That is purely an ad hoc committee. Once a recommendation is made to council, that committee will cease to exist. It's basically to focus and make sure that staff and council are in lockstep in making recommendations to the
To council?
in terms of, how economic development is to proceed. So 1 or 2 for the strategy, 2 to 3 for the Economic Development Subcommittee, and that one is an ad hoc, very short-term group.
Deputy Warden, don't come.
For the Economic Development Subcommittee, I'd like to sit on that. I'm a member of the Airport Corporation, and the airport being one of the economic drivers in our area, and I think it would kind of go hand in hand, so.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're interested in?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
On this on the subcommittee?
Yes, the economic subcommittee.
And how many did you want for that?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
It makes sense that Councillor LeBlanc would sit on that, because he's also on the REN committee. And the province, there's so many committees, so many
Yeah.
economic development things going on. I
Yeah.
can understand where I might have lost somebody.
Yeah.
But basically, there is a meeting in the 26th of March in Halifax that Lucien and myself will be attending regarding the Regional Enterprise Network. So
Oh, okay.
it makes sense that Lucien would be part of that.
Love that economy.
So I probably would be on that ex officio anyway,
Yep.
probably.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the other committee is?
Again, this would be ongoing, maybe once a month, probably during the day. This would be 1 or 2 council members just sitting it would be a monthly meeting of 5 staff, would be 5 key persons at the staff level that are directly involved in some of the strategic initiatives that we'll be pursuing. And we think that at least one councillor should be present in those discussions to make sure that they.
Certainly be interested, certainly be interested in that.
There you go. Anybody else? You got your 2 committees?
So we'll take a motion, if you wouldn't mind, Mr.
Yeah,
Roden.
yeah, a motion, 2 motions, 1 for each?
2 motions, 1 for each.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the members for the Economic Development Subcommittee.
That we form the
Sorry?
committee, right? Want the motion, you want the motion to read that we're forming the committee?
Yep. Yep.
Initiating and the members.
And the members,
Should we name the people on the
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah.
the members being Guy Surette, Calvin D'Entremont, Lucien Leblanc, and the warden as,
No, not Guy.
oh, sorry.
LeBlanc and D'Entremont.
Dortmund.
Yeah. You heard the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
I'd like to
carried.
make a motion that, for the Strategic Planning Committee, that we have 1 member, is it?
1 or 2.
One member being Guy Surratt on the Strategic Planning Committee.
He also.
Okay.
You'd like to sit on, okay, the 2 is perfect. 1's good, 2's perfect. The seconder, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, Bourque Crescent speed limit sign request. What are we looking for here? Just a letter to TIR or?
Quickly, Mr. Warden, if you, I didn't press my button, but just to let you know that there's been some concern about, there's no speed limit sign, and they were wondering if we couldn't get a letter to TIR, if that is the proper people, because the RCMP did come out and they talked to the residents and said, well, there's no speed limit, so we can't put a radar and catch people. So they didn't know where to turn, so they called me up. I said, well, we'll make a motion, trying to get a motion to send a letter to TIR, see if they can get the ball rolling on what to do to get a speed limit put in that road. There's no signs for speed limits, and there's been people driving quite fast. A lot of seniors and children playing in the road.
What about, okay,
I moved
Okay.
to that.
you have a seconder for that?
Second.
So, any road that doesn't have a posted speed limit, is it,
80.
it's 80,
I
right?
thought it was 80 myself too, but
Yeah,
Where it's not posted, it's 80.
yeah, well, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
But a reminder probably wouldn't hurt.
wouldn't hurt, yes. Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Speed limit sign and the road condition, okay. The same road, huh?
Same road and,
Same letter or? You
yes,
send
on
two
the,
separate
if it's
letters?
going to the same place, but I'd like to make a different motion on that one.
Okay,
Maybe you could add that, I see there's some more. Councillor Murphy has one, maybe, I don't know if you'd add that on the same letter, Mr. CAO, or you send two separate letters, I don't know.
If it's road conditions, it typically goes to the same. If it's speed limit, it typically goes to
TIR.
another,
Yeah.
it's all TIR, but
different
another
department.
department.
Okay,
Correct.
But
Oh,
the
okay,
road
right,
condition could go along with the other.
Councillor Murphy's,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
his road, if you didn't mind.
Well,
Yeah.
but if you fix the road, they'll drive faster.
Let them go.
Well, there-
But you can put the same, yeah, instead of going through mine here now,
yeah, why don't we?
just,
Second.
you saw the letter.
Okay, can we have a motion then?
I make the motion that both, a letter be written for both roads to get some work done to repair the roads in bad shape.
And name the road.
And be it the Bourque Crescent and the River Harbor.
Plymouth.
No, it's
Como's
it's the
Hill.
Como's Hill Road, the Sims Road in Plymouth. Because, and there's another road down in Plymouth that, is bad, the roads are really bad where they have the mailboxes.
Yeah,
And now there's a bunch of traffic that's going there, and more traffic than there ever was. And it's just, the road is deteriorating, and and I don't know why with the stuff that, TIR have for that chip seal, that they chew up off the pave, they could put that there, and it becomes like paved. And that would be perfect, in those roads. I mean, this is 2013, and we're still driving dirt roads,
yeah.
so, but anyways.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a
I
seconder.
seconded it.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Coverage Point Community Center, financial request. Now, this is something that should come during the regular budget or grants to organizations, or, but you don't have any community, all right, Councillor Mewis.
Yes, I don't have any more of the community grants
Yes,
in mind, as you read there. This organization has, they have this event on a yearly basis, and apparently they were always supported with the community grants. I was unaware, and of course, my former councillor had used up most of his money, and I ended up using the rest of it before I knew about this. So they're still coming. I discussed this. What's the policy for? Is there a policy there for that you cannot submit these requests after? I know I was talking to CAO on this.
I tell you what we did last fall, I got a request for a community grant, and because it was during the election, wouldn't be fair for me to
No.
to give it, so we waited, the event went on, and we approved it and gave it after the election.
And what it was a community grant as well, came out of your community
Yeah,
grant
yeah,
funds.
Yeah,
I could do the same thing.
they can wait for the 1st of April, right?
Yes, well, the 1st of April, oh, yes, for sure, that wouldn't be a problem. But, I mean, we're not gonna have our budget until, into May, probably.
Well, yeah.
Nothing
no.
will be approved until then.
Yeah,
The problem that I see with that, and I'm gonna end up with this, if they're supported on a yearly basis, what I'm gonna end up is, next year I'll be in the same boat, because I can't give them 2 grants in the same fiscal year, is that
yes,
correct?
right. Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
so,
believe
so.
If it's
I'll
a
be-
yearly event, yeah.
It'll be a yearly,
Yeah.
I'll always be a year behind, but I just thought I'd bring it up. I told them that perhaps there was no way that this would go through unless we did it this way, that I could do it if they wanted to wait, and it would come out of my next budget funds. I guess they're okay with whatever way, as long as they can get money, or we can skip a year and, you know, it'll be kind of entirely up to them. In order to
Yes.
do this, I would have to wait and see, and, you know, the request here, well, I guess it could be made on this request, it's the same thing. So, anyway, I just thought I'd bring it up and see if there was any way that we could,
No,
get
what I'm
money.
thinking of is if you give them a community grant this year, maybe they can have a regular organization grant next year.
Instead,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but no, that won't work either. You can't have 2 grants in one
They
year.
would still have
regardless
2
what type
grants
of
in the
grant.
year,
Sorry.
regardless of which
Sorry.
ones. Yeah.
I'm answering my own question here.
So anyway, I said I would bring it up. I said I would try to see what I could come up with.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Surratt, you want to?
Maybe a suggestion, Danny, where I did talk to the guys, and I remember he told me that, Mr. Muse told me that, and this is just a suggestion, they received $250, was it?
Yeah.
So why don't you give them 500? Do you follow my drift?
Next grant, so that they could save, so that it would cover the year,
Yeah.
which could work as well.
Oh, yeah.
You still only get 1 grant. They received 500 one year, they received
250.
Like it was up and down. And I think they would be happy with anything.
Give him 250 for the whole year.
And for the
yeah,
year, and then
for
they
the
would,
year,
they
yeah.
they would know that next year, that
Yeah.
250. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Huh?
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay. I didn't realize that it was only like that last year they got 250. I thought it was the full. All right. 2013 summer staff employees. I think that's pretty straightforward, Mr. CAO Muse.
Every year, what our recreation director does is asks for a pre-approval for the amount invested in day camp and recreation staff. She does this for a purpose. They get advertised, and we would like to not advertise without council's permission to move forward. This is obviously an annual day camp. And I should note a couple of small changes. One is there's 1 less day camp this year, as you all are aware.
Yeah.
And there has been some adjustments in the amount of weeks that some of the office staff actually work in the office. It was a little long in the past. We've made those adjustments, but we've also added a physical activity person to be able to go into the communities and enable more active living in each of our communities. So that's an initiative that's being pushed by Natalie Surratt-Antremont. The budget is less than last year, and I think they're worthwhile investments, and I would certainly recommend to council that they continue to invest in the summer positions, which of course engage our local youth in the area as well.
So we need a motion to that effect.
I would say that the motion ought to say that it is to to approve, in anticipation of 2013-14 budget, an amount of $76,252, we'll round it, as an approved a salary amount for day camp and summer staff for recreation.
I'll make the motion.
Yes, sir, you can.
Yes, certainly can. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Argyle Recreation Commission terms of reference approval.
I'm sure the chair could speak to this as well. The ARC has done a good work to establish a revised terms of reference for its organization. There's been quite a few changes there. I see them as extremely positive. There's a new engagement, and what the ARC requires is council's endorsement of this document. I would recommend that.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We gotta move on before the computer gives up.
Skip that one now.
Okay, correspondence and for information. Municipality of Yarmouth Shared Services. You've all seen that, something you want to study?
Is that something that, do they require somebody from council to be sitting on that? I was reading that, and is that what they're asking, that we go and sit with them and have a meeting? Or from what you've understood, Alain, did you understand that
They're asking us to.
Well, they're asking
To-
Barrington, Argyle, Town of Yarmouth, and Clare to come together and establish a process, an arm's length process, to examine our financial situation, to seek input to determine whether or not amalgamation and/or additional sharing of services is in the mutual interests of the municipality and its partner units. I would suggest that any sort of process of this nature would require some sort of discussion amongst the four before an arm's length process is begun, before any sort of third party comes in and does an assessment. There has to be an understanding of what that might mean. So Argyle is being invited to that discussion. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're interested in doing that. It maybe means you are, but the invitation has been issued to the warden for the municipality.
Didn't want no part of us when it was provincial boundaries time, so piss on it. Vote on it, go to the next agenda.
What is council's wish? The rest of the council's wish?
Same as Richards.
Huh?
Same as Richards.
I think we've got enough on our plate to take
Exactly.
care of right now, so we can save our energy and put it towards some more productive stuff right now.
Thank you. Nova Scotia Lighthouse Preservation Society.
Interesting reading.
Canada Post Rural Mailbox Safety Review. That's interesting too.
It don't matter anyhow, no matter what you decide.
It doesn't matter to me, but in my district, but
Yeah, they'll do what they want anyhow.
Councillor Bourque.
yes.
Going back to the lighthouse, do they have a list of the lighthouses that they wanna give up?
I imagine, Siobhan.
Do we have a lighthouse in the, I'm wondering if that's on the list or not.
I can't confirm whether that's on the list or not. I am aware of the lighthouse you're referring to. We can get that information
Yeah,
as soon as
that's all I
possible.
wanted to know.
There's
Yeah.
numbers on the bottom there you can call.
Yeah. Okay. Draft action plan and recovery strategy for Atlantic whitefish.
We do actually have those on Robert's Island in that lake.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other place I know is this Lady River.
Okay. Funding request, there's none. I mean,
None that haven't been.
none to discuss now. Notice of motion by Councillor. Anybody have a notice of motion? No? Question period? From the audience? No? Then I guess we're gonna go in camera for a short.
Yep.
Let's go now.
Yeah,
Do it now.
it's very brief,
Yeah,
very brief.